Hello everyone, and thank you very much for joining me in another video today. So I'm out early this morning. It's just about to turn sunrise in a few minutes, and I'm on my way to try and get a nice photograph, hopefully, of a field that I first saw almost 2 weeks ago now. And I'm out early not necessarily to get any nice colour in the sky. I'm out early today for two reasons. The main reason being that once the sun rises, the direction the sunlight is coming from is going to be optimal for my shot. So it's not really about colour in the sky, it's more getting some nice quality of light hopefully, and the direction of light is quite important as well. The other reason is that on this particular day it's going to get a bit overcast later on, so I need to be out early. So the two sort of things align, but key to getting this shot and for it working in my opinion is the clouds that are in the sky behind this field that I want to photograph. I need to get some nice clouds in the correct position. I don't know if that's going to happen today, but we're going to see what I find anyway. So I'll head off and I'll speak to you once I get there. So I've arrived at the field, and hopefully, as you can see behind me, although I may be a little bit dark, you can see the sky is looking quite good. There's quite a lot of nice cloud cover, which is excellent. That's what I need. We've got some nice blue sky, which is another thing that I want. And you may be able to see off to this side is where the sun is rising from, so it should hopefully be casting some nice light across this field in the next hour or so. So I may be lucky today, hopefully, and be able to leave with the type of image that I want. Hopefully quite a nice, bright, uplifting image. That's my hopes regarding what I want to achieve today. But I'm going to head off now and explore along the length of this field and see if I can get a nice composition set up so I'm ready to take my shot when the light is at its best. So I've finally found the spot that I want to shoot from today, the spot that I want to shoot what I believe is this cornfield behind me here, and that's really being controlled by three things. The first and most important to me is that I don't want to go into this field. Clearly it's not mine, and I don't want to damage any of the crops in this field, so I need to stay outside the field obviously. The second thing is this hedge. So it's quite high in places, so there's been points along the field where it would be impossible to take a shot of the field from. And the third thing obviously is my composition. So when I was walking here almost a couple of weeks ago now, I was really drawn to the colour of the field and these lines that run at various points across the length of the field. And it's important to me that I can obviously shoot those square on at an angle where they're going up to the top of this hill, and the hill is relatively flat. And this is really the best spot that I've been able to find that covers all those three things that I've just spoken about. So I think this is a really nice shot, and it's now just a case of waiting until I get the correct sky, the correct light and the correct cloud cover. I'm just carefully watching the sky. The clouds are coming from my right, and I think maybe in 3 to 5 minutes time there may be quite a nice background to this scene behind me here, so I'll be able to take a few more shots. But I just want to talk briefly about what I'm doing here, how I've got the camera set up to take this image behind me here. So the first thing to point out is that I'm not using a tripod. The reason for that is that this hedge is quite high, and I'm not sure if you'll see in the video, but there's a lot of blades of really long grass and things growing up here. So I would need to have the camera very high. The ground at my feet is extremely soft, so once I get my tripod firmly embedded in that, even though I've got a tripod that extends reasonably high, it's going to be too low and it's going to be shooting through some of these grasses, which I really don't want. So my solution is to stand and hold the camera very high and take the shot handheld. Now, that isn't going to be a problem for me on the X-T4 for a couple of reasons. I've got the rear screen, obviously, which can flip down, and I'm holding the camera in portrait orientation for this shot, because that's what's going to work best. So I can hold the camera quite high and still see the screen, so it's not really an issue. I would of course prefer if I could just frame up my composition and leave the camera on a tripod, but it's not possible at this location. So I'm trying to take advantage of some of the features on this camera to help me get the image that I want. The second thing that's helping me on the X-T4, and it's a feature that's obviously available on other cameras, is the IBIS, and that's helping me in two ways. It's helping me keep my ISO low enough that it's not going to be an issue. Now, when the sun comes out, it's quite bright today, so having to use a really high issue was never something I need to do in any camera, but it's still letting me keep it a little bit lower than I would do otherwise if I didn't have IBIS. But probably the main benefit I'm getting from IBIS today is that you can turn it on in a continuous mode. So if you turn on IBIS only in shooting mode and your hand's shaking and trembling a little bit, as it's going to be after a while holding the camera up really high, the image that you see on the rear screen is moving around. It's not stable, so it can be quite difficult to frame your shot perfectly. But if you turn IBIS onto continuous mode, it's actually steadying the image that you see in the rear screen, or indeed in the viewfinder. But I'm obviously using the rear screen today, so that's a fantastic help for framing up the composition behind me here. And the final thing I want to mention about my camera setup is that I've got my polarizer on at the front of my lens, and the sky's slightly dulled down behind me at the moment, but when you get a nice blue sky in these clouds, it makes the sky and the clouds look quite striking, and that's the look that I envisaged when I first saw this field a couple of weeks ago. So that's what I'm doing here, but it's just a case of watching the sky, watching the clouds, and I've already got a few nice images, so even if it dulls over, it's not a problem. But the beauty of arriving in plenty of time is that I can wait here for quite a while now and see if things improve, but I've already got a few nice shots. In terms of this shot working for me, there's a lot of things that need to come together. I've got the composition sorted out, that's not a problem. The sky at the moment is looking really nice. We've got a lot of blue sky, we've got a lot of clouds. I like the look of the clouds, I like the quantity of clouds, and I like how they're spaced out. But over in this direction where the sun is, it's obscured by some quite thick clouds. So there's areas around me that are getting nice light on them, on the ground, but here at the moment we're not getting light on the section of this field that I want. But having said that, I can just see some light creeping in from the right hand side. If I was extremely lucky, that would move across onto the section of the field that I'm photographing, and the clouds look really nice at the moment, so everything would come together. But I don't know if that's going to happen. The light has just sort of backed off again as clouds move across the sun. These clouds seem to be moving quite quickly, but over in this direction there's quite a lot of cloud and it doesn't seem to be moving around much, so I really need a break in that before I'm able to take the shot. So the sky behind me here is beginning to look really nice. We've got lots of blue sky. These clouds are moving into a really nice position and we've got some sunlight on the field. So I'm going to get set up here and take my shot, get into the correct position. I've already got my polarizer set correctly. The clouds are positioning really nice, and because I've got on the polarizer, when I look at this scene, I'm seeing far more clouds and cloud detail than you probably will be in the video. I think many people think IBIS is only for being able to use a slower shutter speed handheld, and that is of course fantastic, but for me here in situations such as this where it's keeping the image in my rear LCD steady, it's really a big benefit. So I'm at 55mm, got my set up correct as in terms of the composition. Camera is level and we take that shot and it looks really nice. So that's a potential candidate for one of my best images today, but it's all about just taking the shot when the sky looks good and the clouds look good and we get a nice little bit of sunlight on this field as well. At the moment that nice light has just gone. So it's just a case of being patient and keeping your eye open at all angles, watching the direction the clouds are coming from, looking at where the sun is to see if it's going to get a little break from the clouds so it casts some nice light on the field behind me. But a very simple image, but I'm really pleased. I think I'm going to be able to get the shot I wanted today. So I feel confident now that I've had the best of the conditions that will be on offer this morning. I think I've had the best of the light and also the best appearance in terms of the sky and cloud cover behind me here. As you can maybe see, there's a little bit of blue sky still appearing behind me, but over to my right, in the direction that I've been watching all morning, the direction the clouds are coming from, there's an awful lot of low cloud cover for as far as my eyes can see, and there's not many patches of sky showing through. Some of the clouds are also quite grey, so I'm confident now that I can move on and know that I've captured this scene at its best this morning. But I'm not going to be taking any more photographs today. This is the only scene that I come out to capture. However, it's still a fantastic morning, and it's still very early in the morning as well, so I'm just going to go off and enjoy a walk. But anyway, thank you so much for taking the time to watch. I really do appreciate it as always, and hopefully I'll see you in my next one.